Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening at the Creekside. Today we are going to give some much needed love and attention to the island bed up here at the chicken coop. This is part of it is a sun garden, part of it is a shade garden. We've got some pruning to do. We've got to get summer annuals pulled out. I know it's January, y'all. I know. You know what? There is grace in gardening, and you get to it when you get to. So yes, we're going to pull out the very dead summer annuals. We are going to pot up a new tree that Mimi just gave me yesterday. That's right, Mimi is at it again. She finds plants that she knows that I have been wanting and desiring for years. She found one and she gave it to me yesterday. So we're going to put it into a container. I'm going to tell you why we're putting it into a container and not directly into the landscape. We're going to prune some hydrangeas. I'm going to tell you what to prune, what not to prune. Maybe we'll prune some abelias. There is tons of stuff to do up here. So if you are like me and you have weather that you can get out into your garden, this is going to be very helpful for you. Or if you're covered in snow, maybe this will give you some, it'll scratch that itch for you to get into your garden, but you can't because of the weather. So let me show you the space. I will also say that Brenna is in rare form today. She is currently playing with a rock, and she is, y'all are probably gonna have some good antics with the dog today. This is the space that we are in. So on both sides of this island bed, it is more of a shade garden. And it kind of goes from where Brenna is all the way up to this oak tree. So these two oak trees right here. So between that area right here that I am showing you, this is going to be more in the shade category of a garden. Then we come to the center of the flower bed. And this is going to be more sun-loving plants. So this is where we've got those panicle hydrangeas, the daylilies. Yes, the sticks of my remnants of my lantana that we're going to pull out. And then when we come back to the other far side of the bed, we transition back into more of some shade. So this is the area that we are looking at. First things first, we are going to go ahead and get the Empress of China dogwood planted in a container. So first, what we're going to have to do is pull out the summer annuals that were in here, pull out that, and the soil. I have got my bag of soil, I have got my biotone. And then here we go, the Empress of China dogwood. This is an evergreen dogwood. It is absolutely stunning when it is in bloom. So Mimi has an Empress of China dogwood, and y'all, when this thing is in bloom, it is absolutely unbelievable. When I say it is covered from tip to tip with blooms, I am not exaggerating. So the Empress of China is going to be best in like morning sun, early afternoon sun, but then needs the shade from the hot afternoon sun. So this is why I am putting it into a container, because I'm not 100% sure of where it's going to go in the landscape. Mimi bought the Empress of China. She found it at Wilson Brothers Gardens. This is an online nursery. So Mimi found it, then one of you sweet folks sent us an email and you're like, hey Jenny, you need to check out Wilson Brothers because they have a great selection of camellias. That was the wrong thing to tell me, people. I just placed a $500 order of camellias and Japanese maples. And the thing is that this is an absolutely gorgeous Empress of China. It is a 1 gallon. They also have larger sizes available. So this is one of those things where I'm going to say this is going to be a great resource for you. They're in Georgia. They are currently shipping live plants. So it's a sorry, not sorry kind of thing, but just be warned when you go to that website, dear heavens to Betsy, I cannot be responsible for the amount of damage that's going to happen to your bank account. That's just all I'm going to say. But it is a great, oh my gosh, they are fantastic. So I cannot wait for my stuff to come. When it does, of course, we'll do a planting party. They're going to go over into the woodland garden. All of that to digress. We need to put this plant in a container because I don't know exactly where it's going to go in the landscape. So I'm going to move it up so the roots can continue to grow and develop. And then when I'm ready to put it in the landscape, the plant will be bigger and it'll be less work on me that I don't have to constantly water it in the 1 gallon. So it'll be nice and insulated in this container. I know I got off on a tangent a little bit, so sorry about that. Just hang in there with me today, y'all. This is gonna be one of those, probably those ADD, like, videos where I'm just like jumping all over the place. So maybe it'll be entertaining for you. All right, so I'm gonna get the camera set up, and we're gonna get this annual out, get all of the soil out, and then I'll show you how I'm going to plant this 1 gallon Empress of China in a container, so it will be grow and bloom and thrive and be very successful until I'm ready to put it in the landscape. Well, that was simple. I didn't even need my hoary, y'all. This is why I always tell you to replace your soil with every time that you plant a container, because when I say there's literally nothing in the container, there's no soil, because it all just perfectly came out. Okay, so what we're gonna do is, this is a 1 gallon shrub, actually. So the Empress of China, you can consider it a large shrub or a small tree. It'll have in that, I want to say like 18 feet tall, 12 feet wide. I mean, that's a really large shrub, right? You can prune it however you want to. You can let it grow all the way down to the ground. You can limb it up. You can kind of do whatever you want with it. But I mean, like, it is gorgeous. So that came from Georgia, and they're an 8A as well. Now, I do not know if this was in a greenhouse or outside, but because the Empress of China is considered an evergreen, there you go. I want to say it's like hardy to zone 6, 7. We'll put the information up on the screen, but I do remember reading off of Wilson Brothers that they said that if you're in a colder zone, that you're really technically outside the zone for Empress of China, that it makes a great container plant. So obviously, as it grows, maybe you want to move it up into a container, but you would need to, if you have the space to move it into a protected area in the wintertime, then there you go. Now for us, it is not going to be a problem. So what I am going to do is just slide it out of the plastic bag. You always do that when you get online shrubs. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna come in a plastic bag. That is because same way that we ship our shrubs. You put it in a plastic bag, then you cinch it around so that the soil doesn't all end up in the box. And so soon as you get your plants online from whatever company it is, open it up, open the bag, let the plant breathe. So there you go. Now, what we're going to do is great quality potting soil, my friends. So lately, this past summer, I discovered this is the Grower's Gold from Sungrow, and y'all, I love it. Yes, it is for the cannabis industry, but you know what? Plants grow really well in it regardless of what they are, and I love it. There is no fertilizer in here, I don't believe. No, there's no fertilizer. So it's just a great blend. Currently, we have this, and we'll have it at the garden center for sale, but not online because it is quite a large bag and quite heavy, and it would be expensive to ship. So whatever your favorite high quality potting soil is, that is what we're going to use. Now, I just like to gauge it. Okay, so I got to add more. So when you're adding in a shrub, tree, plant, whatever kind of plant it is, to a container, remember your soil is going to settle over time. And so it's better to add maybe a little bit extra than what you think. However, I do like to leave a little bit of a lip around my container because obviously we're going to be hand watering this if it doesn't rain, and it drives me insane when the soil is perfectly level and then it all overflows. So what we're going to do is the old trick. We're going to see, now we got roots coming out the bottom, which is a beautiful thing. Look at that, gorgeous. It's a little loose on the top. It's no big deal. It's just the plant. No, you can't have the pot yet. No, I'm not ready. Brenna knows. If you know Brenna, you know that she does enjoy a good container. So what I like to do to make it easier in my brain is I put the pot in And then we're going to backfill it with that soil. So all I have to do is then slip in the Empress of China. Makes a little bit of a mess. It's all right. It's not gardening till you get dirty, right? So just jam pack your soil in all the way around your pot. Make sure it's nice and compacted. Then what we're going to do is slip the pot out, drop in our biotone, and then we're going to then just bring the Empress of China, and it will just fall right in that hole, and it will be a perfect snug fit. So yes, there's soil that gets into the container, like the pot itself. That's not a problem, because all you have to do is just pull it out of the pot and compact it on the edges like that. Make sure it's nice and tight, and then wiggle, wiggle, squiggle, squiggle. I've got a perfect hole right here. Brenna can have the pot. You want the pot? She wants the pot. Biotone. Sprinkle it in the bottom. It is preferable that the biotone be in straight contact with the roots. I'm just going to loosen them up just on the bottom, so that way they go out. You just want to make them fluffy, okay? You're not going in there trying to destroy the plant. You just want it to be fluffy. There we go. Smush, compact, boom. There you go. Easy as that. Now, what I do need to do is find some mulch, and I put mulch around the top. That way it insulates the roots. It just makes it look pretty, and yes, it even keeps weeds out. Yes, you can get weeds in your containers because weed seeds blow in the wind. The main reason, though, is to insulate the roots and help retain that moisture. So I'm gonna go find some mulch, put it on here, and then I'm gonna show you 2 ways to prune your panicle hydrangeas, because we need to prune our panicle hydrangeas. They bloom on new growth. If I'm in this flower bed, we're gonna go ahead and take care of them. We're gonna do it, one, very meticulous and very precise, and the other ones, we're just gonna go for it and just whack at them. All right, my friends, so we are going to prune our panicle hydrangeas. I have got 2 limelights here on each side. And so your panicles are going to be those more cone-shaped hydrangeas. Typically, they're going to be white. So they start out like a creamy white, and then they will traditionally turn to a pink or red. Here in the South, we get so hot and humid, most of the time they just go straight to brown. So you need to prune them because they bloom on new growth each and every year, and they are pretty fast growers once they get established. So just so you can kind of see, this is where I pruned it last year, and then we had 2 feet, at least 2 feet of growth on this. So you can be very meticulous if you like when you prune these hydrangeas. I'm going to do one very precise, and then the next one I'm going to get the hedge trimmers out, and I am just going to cut it, because at the end of the day these hydrangeas are tough and they do not care. You do not have to be super particular. If you want to, that's fine, not a problem. So if you want to be particular, what you're going to do, this, first of all, okay, these have been in the ground for, this is probably going on to their 3rd year. So they're getting some good size to them, and they have nice, strong stems. So you can see that they did not really flop this year. So nice and strong. At this point in the season, because I am North Carolina a Zone 8A, if I'm in a flower bed, I'm going to prune what needs to be pruned, and I'm going to take care of what needs to be taken care of, because spring is really crazy for us. You can absolutely start pruning your panicles and your smooth hydrangeas now if you are in the warmer zones like I am. If you're in those colder zones, you can wait. It'll be fine. So we are going to find where I cut it last year, and then we're going to come up a couple of leaf nodes. Now you're going to know it's a leaf node because on each side of the stem, you're going to have these 2 little bumps, shall we say, that are a little swollen. Right above those two little bumps, I'm going to take my clippers and I'm going to cut. Now, those two little bumps, those two little leaf nodes are going to turn into stems come the warmer weather. So now where we had one stem, we're going to have two stems. Sometimes, like this one, we actually got three stems. So this is how you get nice, thick, full panicle hydrangeas and not ones that have super long stems and flop and don't bloom as well for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through as quickly as I can. Every single stem is going to get cut, and we're going to keep it, like I said, you can go as, however far you want to go up. If you want to go one leaf nodule up, you can, but I'm trying to get this one to grow because I want it to be nice and big. So I came up three nodules. Don't have to be too concerned. I'm going to show you in a minute how I really don't care. So here we go. All right, my friends, so there you go. Now, you can tell she is sticks, and I also went ahead and cleaned up the bottom of the hydrangea because I was starting to have some like really thin growth down there. Then I had one, it was a good size stem, but it was coming across and rubbing and crisscrossing the other main branches. So I went ahead and got rid of that. Plus, I like with my limelights because they can get really big. Like the big mature one I have down on the creek bank is every bit of like 10 to 12 feet tall. And so I like to have all the action up top and a little bit like limbed up from the bottom. That way I can continue to plant annuals here in front of it. Now, if you want that full look of your hydrangea not laying on the ground, but having those limbs really low and all the way up, then obviously you're going to leave those lower limbs. I like to take those off and lift it up a little bit so I can have more room in my garden to plant those annuals because limelight gets so big. Now, that was the meticulous way. Now let's go use the hedge trimmers on this. It's going to be much faster to do. All right, so limelight over here. Now, you may look at this and go, well, Jenny, this is not quite as upright and it looks a little more floppy than your other limelight. And you would be correct. This one does not get quite as much sun because there's a tree right here. So this is kind of a lesson of the more sun for your panicle hydrangeas, the better. Now, if I could switch it out, but you know what, y'all? I'm not going to. I'm just going to live with it. It'll be all fine. Now, take your hedge trimmers, whichever ones you like. And basically what you want to think about is just that you want it the same size as the companion piece next door. I am not going to worry about leaf nodules and all that other stuff. I'm just going to go in there and trim. Now when I'm done, if I need to come in here and clean out some little spindly stuff with my hand pruners, I can do that. But here we go. All right, boom, there you go. So definitely took a lot less time. And then the hardest part about this is just going to be the cleanup. You just got to go around, clean some things up. If you missed anything with the hedge trimmers because of some tight spaces, go back in with your pruners, clean it up, and boom, you're done. All right, next, abelias. If you're a southerner like me and you love abelias as much as I do, we need to give them a good haircut right now too. So I'm going to show you how easy it is. Okay, my friends, so today's project, today's work is complete. Now, is there more to do in here? Absolutely. I could spend days up here. But a little personal note, today is hair day, so I have an appointment that I have to get to. And yeah, but I feel very productive. Y'all, if y'all can only spend 5 minutes in your garden, if you're not covered in snow. Now, if you're covered in snow, I get it, I understand. That's why you're gonna garden vicariously through me in these videos. But if you're not covered in snow or it's not pouring down rain and you can get out in your garden, even if it's for 5 minutes or 50 minutes or 5 hours, anything that you can do is better for you and for the garden. So I feel accomplished, even though in my mental brain there's still a lot to do in this garden, but I feel accomplished, and so that is a very good thing. Just looking at it, it looks better. Having the hydrangeas pruned, having the abelias pruned. I did come through and clean up my daylilies. All you have to do, y'all, is just go in there and just pull out the dead growth. Like, I didn't even cut it. I just yanked it out. And you can see that I have that green growth with the daylilies right there. All is well. But I got the Empress of China. She is nice and well watered in. Filled up my bird bath. The abelias cleaned up, looks great. I have 2 of Little Lime Punch right off here to the right of the first limelight, and so I got them pruned as well. So your panicles and your smooth hydrangeas, we're gonna go ahead and prune. Now the other hydrangeas here to the right, as we move more into the shade, do not prune those because they are macrophyllus, and we do not prune our macrophyllus because they bloom on old growth. If I were to prune them, then I have cut off my blooms. Now these are reblooming macrophyllus, so even if I did prune them accidentally or a tree fell on them or something happened to them and it broke, I would just miss my first flush of flowers, but they would bloom for me later on in the season. Next up on the major to-do list as far as the gardens is rose pruning. Yes, it is middle of January, but it's North Carolina. Y'all, we have had like crazy temperatures. We've been up in the 70s. Like yesterday was 73, I think. And so the poor plants are confused. Although this happens all the time in the South. Like you can be at 13 and then later on in the week you can be at 80. Like literally those are the swings that we can have. And so the roses are starting to wake up. I'm starting to see some little buds, like some leaf swells on them. So I want to go ahead and prune them before they start to flush out with new growth. So just be thinking and be looking for videos coming. I've done tons of videos on how to prune your roses. I won't spend a ton of time video-wise doing it, but I do have a lot of roses to prune in the garden. So that is going to be a major to-do coming up probably within the next week, that I'm going to try to get all of my existing roses all pruned. So just a little heads up, if you have some time and your roses are starting to show some bud swells, some leaf swells, go ahead and get them pruned. Go back and watch some other videos, and yeah, we'll have it for you. All right, my friends, as always, we hope you found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have an amazing day. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye, friends.